Blanca Ramos. This is the Dynamic Assessment Final Project for EDSN 640. I am basing my current dynamic assessment on my previous dynamic assessment case, which was for a student named Marvin who had issues with letter recognition and phonemic awareness. Hello, my name is Blanca Ramos. This is a lesson for a preschool student. The title of the lesson is Letter Recognition and Phonetic Sounds. It's based on a student. Her name is Sky. She is a preschool student who has been having some difficulties with letter recognition and her phonological awareness. The central focus of the plan is learning the letters of the alphabet and how to spell letters and words, focusing on letter recognition and phonological awareness. The content standard is based on the reading standard recognized that spoken words are represented in written language by specific sequence of letters. Phonological awareness. 2. A. Demonstrate an emergent understanding of spoken words, syllables, and sounds. Recognize. B. Recognize and match words that rhyme. C. Demonstrate awareness of relationship between sounds and letters. 3. Demonstrate emergent phonetics and word analysis skills. With prompting and support, demonstrate one-to-one letter-sound correspondence by producing the primary sound of consonants. And the goal of the student is to have the student be able to recognize the letters of the alphabet as well as the letters in her name. She'll be able to say the sound of most letters in her name and recognize the letters as well. As a class, we began to read a story, and I realized after I sent back the students to their seats, I noticed that Sky was not able to write her name, and she was not able to draw a picture illustrating the story that we discussed, which was red shoes, new shoes. Then, during the pretest, I gave Sky a blank piece of computer paper with the letters of the alphabet and also with letters of her name largely written in a marker. I then asked Sky the letters in her name and asked if she could use the dot marker to make a dot on the letters of her name. When I asked her to do this, she hesitated for a moment and she scratched her head. She was not sure of what she needed to do. However, she did dot a few letters, but none of them made up her name. I asked her then to tell me the letters. She was not really able to tell me the letters besides the letters A, Y, and then I asked her on the letters D and B and H if she knew those letters, and she only said them when I repeated them to her. She was not really able to express those letters, and she's not really able to differentiate between one another. I then asked Sky if she could tell me the letters of her name. She was not able to do so either, and then, however, when I wrote on a separate piece of paper all the letters together, she was able to tell me that is my name. During the mediation, Sky and I worked on practicing her name. We sang the alphabet song, and then we went over the alphabet board and the letters on a separate piece of white paper. I wrote Sky's name and asked her to grab some Play-Doh and asked her if she could make her Play-Doh as the same shape of the letters. One by one, Sky was able to create each letter with the Play-Doh. She was able to do the letters without me instructing her to do so again. When I asked her what the letters were, she would make guesses and she wouldn't be able to tell me exactly what they were. And then I would say the sounds of the letters. I would start it off, and then she would also do it right after me. After the second letter, she continued to do this for her name. She was able to make the sound, but was not really sure what letter she was supposed to be telling me. I had her then remove the Play-Doh and ask her to spell out her name one more time, and when she did, so we did this as a repetitive instruction. After she told me the sound of the letter, she wasn't able to tell me the name. Then I had her remove the Play-Doh and asked her to spell her name one more time, and when she did, once we did that again, we went on to construction paper, and I had cutouts of the letters of her name, and I had them placed had her place them under each letter where she had Play-Doh. I told her she could help me find each letter to go with its sister because they look alike. I asked her to place each letter with the Play-Doh letter. I then told her we were going to play a letter game because letters help us read and help us make our name. She smiled and she giggled, and then after I told her that, we moved on to the Play-Doh. I told her she could only remove the Play-Doh letter only when she got the letter's name right. She had to match each letter, cutout letter, to the Play-Doh. I then removed the construction letters around and mixed them in different order. I moved a letter down on the table and asked her to point to which letter it belonged to. When she picked up the letter to place it to the letter, I told her to listen carefully, to make the sound, and to try. She picked up Y first, and I made the Y sound, and then went to the Play-Doh letters and said their names and sounds as well. Immediately, she was able to identify the cutout letter with the Play-Doh letter. She was also able to tell me she had two letters that were Y that were also in her name. So she was able to tell me the letter Y. We then worked on the letter S and K. Since her name is short, she was pretty much able to tell the letters Y and S. She did have some trouble with the letter K and remembering its name, although she was able to say it. In the post-test, Sky and I continued to work on the letters of her alphabet. We played a game for the holidays with the holiday read. There, I asked her to place all the ornaments with the correct matching letters. The letters were all in the correct alphabetical order, as normal as it is in the alphabet. Sky was able to match all the letters to the correct ornaments with each letter on the wreath. On a separate piece of paper, I then asked her to circle the letters of her name, which she was able to do for a few of her letters. She was able to sound out and tell me the letters A, B, C, D, E, S, T, Y, and Z. Although she did well, I did continue to work with her. I did notice that she did need help remembering the letter K, which is also in her name. She was able to sound it out once I helped her out, but she was not able to remember the name of the letter. Although Sky's age may be a factor in her difficulties that she's having with letter recognition and phonetics awareness, it's also a possibility she may have a mild learning disability. She does tend to confuse B and D quite often when she does have to write the letters. Sky is typically a shy and reserved student. Her social skills, she doesn't really like to interact with too many students. She does have one friend in particular that she tends to gravitate towards in the classroom. Sky will need to continue to receive intervention to achieve success and understanding of all the letters and their sounds. She will benefit from one-on-one instruction for at least 2 weeks. Daily, she will need to work on her letters and her name until she's able to completely spell her name and sound out the letters that are in her name. She will be assessed informally at the end of the first week, and by the second week, it will be determined if another dynamic assessment lesson will be provided to assist Sky and see if modified instruction is needed.